All right, what's going on, guys? Austin here. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the Extra Points Week 7 5-minute fantasy. We're going to start off where we always do with the booming and the busting quarterbacks. So my start of the week, I like Matt Ryan against Tennessee. They've been starting to catch their rhythm. I still don't think he's a winning quarterback, but what he's going to be able to do is throw a crap ton of yards and to get a few touchdowns there in the meanwhile. Now, Jonathan Taylor is going to be playing, but Tennessee has a really good front seven, and JT is coming back from an injury, so I still don't know how much of a role in the offense he's going to have. Jacoby Brissett at Baltimore. Baltimore has a horrendous defense, especially on the passing game. Jacoby Brissett, he's got David Njoku, he's got Donovan Peoples-Jones, and he's got Amari Cooper, who are all going to be viable options. And I think they're going to be trailing a lot for this game. So look for Jacoby Brissett to get you some points this week. Next, we got Tua Tagovailoa going up against Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh has a good defense, but remember, the last time we saw Miami, their offense was clicking on all cylinders. Last time we saw Tua in Miami, they were clicking on all cylinders. Pittsburgh doesn't have the cornerbacks to match up with the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, or the speed to match a Raheem Mostert on the outside. So, this matchup, Tua should be able to get a lot of yards. Maybe not the touchdowns, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 340 yards this week. And Jimmy Garoppolo versus Kansas City. This one, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a, coming off of a loss. Kyle Shanahan is a really good coach. There are a few that are really good coming off a loss, like Sean McVay and Bill Belichick. Really good coaches coming off of a loss. And Kansas City, they have a couple really good players in the front seven. They've got the kid out of Purdue, George Karlaftis. They've got Chris Jones. They've got Frank Clark. But their secondary is kind of leaving a little bit to be desired. Now, they do have a good cornerback, but Jimmy Garoppolo knows how to spread the football around, and I think this might be a pretty big George Kittle game too. And then I like Aaron Rodgers at Washington. This is probably going to be the best game of the season so far for him. I know he's had a really slow start. But Washington has a horrendous defense pretty much all around. And, after consecutive losses to bum teams, I think the Packers are going to be wanting to, make a real statement and come back against, a team that's just not good. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes at San Francisco. This one, I've gone back and forth on it, but San Francisco is giving up the least yards per play in the NFL, which is a Kansas City type of defense where like Kansas City needs those deep plays. They don't often let plays develop down the field. Otherwise they, get lost into turnovers and things like that. And so I think that Patrick Mahomes could end up having a really low performing game against the 49ers this week. Dak Prescott versus Detroit. Now I know that Detroit has one of the worst defenses of all time, but I just don't think that the Detroit coming off a bye after getting embarrassed by the Patriots, Dak Prescott coming off of an injury, there's too many factors that are going to lead to Dak Prescott having a disappointing game for me to bet on him. Now, Tom Brady at Carolina. I actually like Carolina's defense. I think they've been really underwhelming so far this year. Jaycee Horn matching up on Mike Evans should be a really interesting matchup. But then, you've got the safety Jeremy Chin. You've got a few pretty good players in the front seven that are going to get to Brady. I don't really like the Tampa Bay offense. And so, again, just this week, we're sitting Tom Brady. Number 4 for busting, it's going to be Kyler Murray against New Orleans. Now, he's getting DeAndre Hopkins back, and I think that's kind of somewhat overrating the Cardinals right now. If y'all been paying attention, I'm really high on New Orleans. But Arizona right now is favored by 2.5 at home against the Saints, which means if it was in a neutral field, the Saints would be favored by 0.5 point. I think the Saints should be favored by like 3 in a neutral field. So I like the Saints in this game, mainly, because of their defense and the way that they're going to match up with Kyler. They've got really good linebackers, and they've got a good front seven. Their secondary is seriously underperforming, and I'm just waiting for it to click in. So for that reason, I'm sitting Kyler Murray. And then Derek Carr versus Houston. Houston has a very good pass rush and a very good secondary. They've got Jonathan Owens back there. They've got Jalen Petrie. They've got Derek Stingley. They've got Jerry Hughes in the front seven. 4 incredibly high impact players as far as pass defense is concerned, leading for a bad matchup for Derek Carr against the Houston Texans. All right, guys, be sure to let me know what you think of this video in the comments down below. Like and subscribe so that way you can stay up to date on all of our future content.